right, what is going on, everybody? How is everybody doing today? Welcome back here today to the Just Ballin' podcast. In today's episode, we are going to go over a Bleacher Report article where they rank every NBA team's top 3 players most likely to be traded this offseason. You guys really enjoyed when I talked about Bleacher Report's article the other day, where it was one trade idea for every NBA team this offseason. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that today. And before we hop and dive into the article, I want to talk a little bit about Magic Mind. As Magic Mind, you guys have heard here on the pod me talk about in the past, and it's something that I've been using over the last few months, and it's really helped me kind of gain that energy and really a clearer mind throughout the NBA season. Now March Madness, like it's madness all over the place. And basically Magic Mind is just kind of this little drink here that you could just take on a daily basis, and it can replace your coffee. It's super easy to drink. It's not like you're drinking this massive protein shake or anything like that where you just got to get through it. You can literally finish it in a few seconds, and it just comes in this little bottle. You can see it here if you guys are watching on YouTube, and it can come in a subscription base, which I love as well. It's pretty much free shipping that comes with every subscription. It's delivered right to your house, apartment, condo. It has an easy cancellation process. There's no questions to ask, and it can be done with a simple portal click. You don't have to go through 9 different prompts just to cancel your subscription. And then it also has a 100% money back guarantee, which I love about it as well. And like I said, I just kind of can drink it throughout the day. It just takes a few seconds. It tastes great, and there is a lower cost of the subscription compared to the one-time purchase. And they run a great promotion, you guys, my viewers here on Just Ballin', where you can use code Ballin, MAR, throughout the month of March. That's capital BALLIN MAR. You can see the link on your screen, link in the description of the pod on the audio platforms and here on YouTube. And that discount is going to get 20% off your order as well. So to get 20% off, use that code Ballin MAR or click that link in the episode description. And thank you to Magic Mind for sponsoring today's episode. All right, so let's hop into this. And yeah, they're going to start off with the Atlanta Hawks. It's basically 3 players that are most likely going to be traded. And I'll say if I agree with them, if I disagree with them. Some of these guys could have contracts expiring for the 2026 season. Maybe the season isn't going to end how they would like it to. And yeah, let's hop into this. Sign and trade scenarios are eligible for this inclusion, though they typically will be featured only as last resorts. Please remember, these are not necessarily predictions. Each big board is built by trying to suss out the most pressing decisions and matters that face a team, and then fleshing out its top 3 list from there. So we're going to start off with the Atlanta Hawks, and they rank them in order: Terrence Mann, number 1, Trae Young, number 2, and George Niang, number 3. Now, Clint Capella and Caris LeVert are free agents this offseason. I think more so Terrence Mann having, 3 years left on the deal. I think there's still some value to Terrence Mann, who's had some moments for this team since getting traded over at the deadline, but I just don't think he's going anywhere right now. It could be in a much larger deal, but I just don't know if any team wants to take on that long-term salary at the moment. Trae Young, yeah, I think he would be number 1, but they're probably just a little hesitant to all right, Trae Young is the most likely Hawk to get traded this offseason. That is tough to say because of how much Trae Young means to the city and the franchise, and I'm sure they want to win around Trae Young. Honestly, I think they didn't handle the deadline in the best way. Now, if they could squeeze past Miami, who's been playing some terrible basketball as of late, and make it into the playoffs, you know what? You could stomach giving away San Antonio the 15th overall pick in the draft. Perfectly fine with that. And then I still like the foundation. You're going to have hopefully 2 first-round picks. You got the Lakers pick. You got Sacramento's pick if it's outside the top 12. You have Daniels, Reese Shea, who have looked great over the last few weeks, and Jalen Johnson coming back. Maybe you draft a couple wings. Maybe you can get a better center on the market. I like the Hawks going forward, and I would probably put Trae Young number 3 and George Niang up there at I'd probably put Niang at 1 if he were to get moved. Man at 2 just because it's a larger deal. And Trae Young, if you had to put somebody at 3, I don't think Okongwu is getting moved this offseason. Maybe Kobe Buffkin could just be a sweetener in a piece. I don't know if Atlanta is giving up on him already. But yeah, that's for the Atlanta Hawks. Next up for the Boston Celtics, we got Xavier Tillman, number 1. I think so, especially if they end up drafting a big man. You got Cornette, Porzingis. I mean, if Horford comes back and Cato, there's been some other options better than Tillman, who they acquired last year at the deadline. I get that. Sam Hauser at number 2. I mean, I wonder, with the new ownership coming in, how is Brad Stevens going to operate with the second apron? Because the Celtics have basically been paying everybody. They're very lucky they gave Peyton Pritchard that extension. Like Tatum and Brown, Supermax is kicking in and fully kicked in. Derek White, Kristaps is still making money for at least one more year. I thought Kristaps could have been in the top 3. But if Boston makes it to the ECF or the finals, I think they want to run this team back for the most part. But Kristaps will need a new extension this offseason if he's going to re-sign with Boston. I think he loves it there in Boston, so I'm sure he would like to re-sign. But this team, I don't know. Maybe they can continue to pay everybody. Who cares about the second apron if they like the core they have, and who cares about a 2031 first round pick? You're gonna have the Jays still in their prime by then. I just think, or maybe at the end of their prime still, like you're not gonna give up like that pick being frozen. Who cares? Sam Hauser could get traded. I mean, it's got like a good salary to get moved, but I think they like having Sam Hauser. Who knows? If they feel like Baylor Shimerman can step up down the line, maybe they draft somebody. Maybe they take a flyer on somebody. Hauser could get moved. And Drew Holiday at 3 is intriguing. I don't think Drew Holiday is a favorable contract to trade for because he's actually looked kind of good over the last few games. Now that looks like he's fully healthy this year from that finger injury or the hand injury he had a little bit ago. I just don't think anybody wants that Drew Holiday contract. Maybe there is a team where it could make sense, but Drew Holiday, I think, is best as like your 5th best offensive player, and he could still be a really good defender. It's just how can a team dish out that salary to bring in Drew Holiday, and how could he make an impact and get slotted in? Maybe. I'm just intrigued what the Celtics do this offseason. Yeah, with the tax concerns and the second apron arriving going forward. And Peyton Pritchard, I mean, he's under contract for like the next 3 years, so there's no extension that needs to get kicked in. And I think what's nice about Pritchard's contract, like Holiday's money will be basically off the books if they want to re-sign Pritchard. I believe in 2 off seasons from now. So next up for the Brooklyn Nets, we got Cam Johnson, number 1. Don't disagree with that. I'm surprised Cam Johnson wasn't moved at the deadline. I wonder if, I mean, the Nets, like, they've been kind of competitive this year. And I mean, shout out to Jordi Fernandez. Shout out to these guys trying to earn another contract. The players don't care about tanking. They want to try to get another contract, like Keon Johnson and Zaire Williams and Trenton Watford and Jalen Martin and, or Tyrese Martin and Jalen Wilson, excuse me. So they're trying hard. Cam Johnson should get moved. I don't know if Sean Marks wants to bottom out next year or say they had a couple guys this offseason and maybe like Cam Johnson is a good complementary piece to those guys going forward, but he should get moved. Orlando should be calling. Houston should be calling. These teams that need shooting should be calling. D'Lo, number 2, I guess that would be more so a sign and trade. I don't really see that happening. I just don't know who wants to give up assets for D'Lo at this point. And then Cam Thomas, number 3, that's intriguing because that is a shooter right there. Now, he does have a little bit of tunnel vision. He's been plagued by injuries this year. I think he is shut down for the rest of the year as well. So it's like, what is Cam Thomas's value? Because that is a restricted sign and trade. Are you okay giving him like Anthony Simons level money where Simons got like 4 for 100 or something around there? I think there could be some value for Cam Thomas in this league. And I think the Nets would be wise to trade him. I tweeted about it kind of jokingly the other day. I was like, what if the Sixers, or excuse me, what if the Nets just gave like Quentin Grimes 4 for 100 in free agency? Philly would have to match that. That is going to be a big contract to Philly's cap sheet that I also don't know, like off the top of my head, that Quentin Grimes can make that much of a salary increase. He might be capped out at a certain amount. Either way, like, I don't know. I think I'd rather have Quentin Grimes on my team than Cam Thomas if you could flip Thomas for some assets going forward. So, yeah, I wonder, if Claxton will get dealt this offseason, like, the Lakers could be intrigued in Claxton going forward. And I don't think we'll cost too much because of that contract. Like, we'll probably cost less for LA than what, like, Mark Williams was costing. Speaking of Mark Williams, let's go here to the Charlotte Hornets, where Mark Williams is number 1. Yeah, I guess Mark Williams is like, I guess they want to trade me. Now, props to Mark Williams, still wanted to play, like, every night. And, I mean, guys have been shut down left and right for this team this year. And I think they probably should move him. I like Mark Williams, but I always worry about the health and what he's going to look like on a next contract. And I thought the Connect return was good for them. I think they should revisit that idea in the offseason if they can get similar value to what they could have gotten at the deadline. Miles Bridges is number 2. Why is he on this team? I think for this team going forward, Bridges, I think, has still shown scoring ability this year. What is he making? $25 million for the next 2 years. Move him in the offseason. Allow more minutes for the young guys going forward and more shots, especially if you're going to draft an Ace Bailey or Trey Johnson. Then Miles Bridges definitely or Dylan Harper. Bridges needs to be traded because, I mean, you have Brandon Miller, Miles Bridges, LaMelo Ball taking all these shots. If like you're getting Ace Bailey or Trey Johnson that needs as much volume in their first couple years to kind of develop into an NBA scorer, Bridges should be off this team. And if you can get any asset for him, I would do that. And then Jusuf Nurkic at number 3. I don't know who wants Jusuf Nurkic unless you're taking a worse contract back. Like, can you do Nurkic for Paul George and you're getting an out? I'm just saying like something like that, like a massive salary dump that Nurkic's $19 million can get you there. Nobody wants Nurkic as a player anymore. But I think if you can take on a worse contract, I would do that trade in a heartbeat if you can get an asset back in return. Because Charlotte, as much as I would love for them to be next year's Detroit Pistons, or the Orlando Magic or the Houston Rockets, teams in the past that have been so bad that have had that exciting year. And I mean, Detroit was so disappointing last year, and they're so exciting to watch this year. I would love for that to be Charlotte next year. I think it's tough unless they get a little bit of lottery luck in this draft. Chicago. Ayo Dosunmu, number 1. Vucevic, number 2. Herter, number 3. Okay. Surprised that Vooch wasn't 1, who does have 1 year left on his deal. I think you got to move. I think Ayo Dosunmu and or Kobe White, both those guys are free agents in the 2026 offseason. I think it also depends what happens with the Bulls in the lottery. Say they are able to draft a VJ Edgecombe or Dylan Harper in this draft, and the way that Josh Giddey has been playing, you want to re-sign him in the offseason, especially if you're going to have younger wings and bigs that you want to help kind of develop their offensive game. And Giddey having his core vision could be great for those guys. So now it's, I don't know, maybe crowded with Dosunmu there. Trey Jones has given them some good minutes as well. I would really like for Vucevic to be off this team. I think you should try to capitalize on Dosunmu and maybe feel the market out for Kobe White. If Orlando wants to give you some really good assets, if it like a team like Houston or OKC, I'm just saying like teams that have assets that can easily trade for Kobe White's like $11 million salary, you can net a really good return. But maybe it's tough for you to trade away Kobe White. So I think Dosunmu, you could stomach that a little bit more. He's making like $7 million, a former second-round pick. That could be easy to move. Kevin Huerter, I don't think anybody wants that contract. Nobody wants Zach Collins' contract. The only thing would make sense if you're taking back a worse contract, theoretically. So I'd probably replace Kevin Huerter with maybe Kobe White on this team. Maybe Lonzo Ball. I don't think Josh Giddey would get moved. I mean, I think Jalen Smith, maybe, if a team wants some center depth. For Cleveland, we got Dean Wade 1, Isaac Okoro 2, and Max Strus 3. I guess this is all because of trading for DeAndre Hunter. So you kind of have your starting small forward. You drafted Jalen Tyson in the first round last year. You moved on from Levert and George Niang already. These all make sense. I think you'd probably prefer to move Okoro over Wade, but Wade is making a little bit less, and I think a little bit more 3-D than you'd like out of Okoro this year. Strus, I think, is still a good player for this team, but he's making a little bit of money. I think it's just more so if the Cavs have to worry about a tax issue down the line. We'll see if Dan Gilbert wants to dip into the tax and how much when we get there, because of Mobley's extension kicking in next year. Mitchell and Garland are making bread. Jared Allen's extension's kicking in very soon. Still a great contract for him. And then Hunter's contract going forward. So maybe there is, they're apparently $20 million into next year's luxury tax. We'll see. And that's without factoring new deals for Ty Jerome or Sam Merrill. I think maybe, you could bring back Merrill for way less than Okoro or Wade. Maybe he's making, maybe more Okoro, probably right around Wade. I think they get priced out on Ty Jerome, which kind of stinks. But if I'm Orlando, if I'm Washington, if I'm Brooklyn, like I'm giving Ty Jerome $15+ million a year for the way he's playing right now. Dallas, all right, this is an interesting one. Dwight Powell, number 1, PJ Washington 2, and Gafford 3. I wonder if we're going to get, oh man, I just don't want Nico Harrison making these decisions anymore because he fumbled the Quentin Grimes for Caleb Martin deal. I'm not going to talk about the Luka deal here because, oh God, I mean, what does this team do? PJ Washington and Daniel Gafford can be free agents after the 2026 season. So are you going to work out new extensions for those guys? I would put Gafford ahead of PJ. I mean, you do have like Caleb Martin and Max Christie and Clay and plenty of wings on your team, but I think you have Derek Lively. Do you pay Gafford that much money? I mean, Derek Lively could get a rookie extension at the end of next year's season when Gafford is a free agent. Good luck predicting what Dallas Mavericks president of basketball operations, Nico Harrison, will do next. I agree. I have no idea what this team's going to do this offseason. I wouldn't be surprised if number 1 was like somebody different than Dwight Powell. Like, do they actually go after Kevin Durant this offseason? No, they shouldn't. They flat out shouldn't do that. But I mean, Kyrie's out next year. This team could use another point guard. I mean, it looks like they're going to get maybe a lottery pick here. And there's going to be some guys on the board if they want Ben Serif or Jeremiah Fears or Jason Richardson, Nolan Traore or Yegor Demon. All could be on the board for them. I think PJ and Gafford are a little bit more likely. I would even put maybe Clay at 1 instead of Dwight Powell. Denver, we got Dario Saric, who's got, I believe, like a $5 million player option. Did they mention it here? They do not, but it's something around there that he's going to opt into. Zeke Naji at 2. They've been trying to move that contract since they extended him. And Hunter Tyson at 3. I guess it's just kind of like who's getting moved on this team. I mean, they could have a disappointing playoff exit. Then we revisit this. But Jokic, Gordon, Murray, and Porter Jr. all under contract. I guess if the offer is right, they would be open to moving anybody not named Jokic. I mean, Christian Brown's going to get an extension this offseason. Strother looks like he's a good young piece for you, and Peyton Watson, at least defensively. So, yeah, the Nuggets, once again, aren't going to be able to do too much. They don't have a first-round pick. And I don't think anybody wants that Zeke Naji contract at the moment. And you do have Deron Holmes coming back next year. Detroit, we got Simone Fontecchio 1, Tobias Harris 2, and Jalen Duren 3. Fontecchio, I think, could look for a new change of scenery. I think if anybody wants to take a flyer on him as kind of like an off-ball shooter, Tobias Harris, I think this would be more so leveraging his $25 million into like a bigger deal to get maybe a more notable name in Detroit to elevate this team's current core. I'm surprised Jalen Duren is there at 3. I mean, I don't know if something happens here, but I think Duren is better than Isaiah Stewart long-term. I guess maybe if they're far apart on a contract extension this offseason, maybe Duren's camp goes to Detroit and Trent Langdon is like, we want $25 million at the minimum. And they're like, all right, you haven't really been a great defender until this year for us. And that more so could be of Asar Thompson, like elevating that defense as a whole. They are going to have to pay Malik Beasley on a very nice extension this offseason, but they have plenty of money to work with. I don't see Jalen Duren getting moved. If anything, I could see that being like Marcus Sasser or, Tim Hardaway Jr. Or something like that. If that is like a sign and trade. Even Isaiah Stewart, I could see being moved more than Jalen Duren. Golden State. All right, we got Buddy Hield 1. We got Moses Moody 2. We got Jonathan Kuminga 3. I think teams need shooting, so there is a chance Buddy Hield could get moved. Maybe Charlotte calls or Brooklyn or some team like that. That is fine having that $9 million. You can maybe get 1 or 2 more good years out of Buddy Hield shooting. And in the last year, it's like an expiring contract that you could move. Moses Moody there at number 2, which is, I don't know. He's under a good contract. I don't think Golden State would want to move him unless they're trying to get a bigger name. I think Kuminga is one I'm keeping an eye on. That would be a restricted sign and trade this offseason. Say there's a big name that becomes available that you can give Kuminga $25 million to, and that could help you with maybe Hield or Looney in a sign and trade. And yeah, that can get you a bigger name to Golden State if they think they can actually, I don't know, go all in one more year, depending on how this year's playoff result turns out. But yeah, like, I don't know if I think like Trey Jackson Davis there too, Pods. I just don't think Moody is going to get moved for this team right now. Houston, all right, this is an intriguing one. Cam Whitmore 1, Jalen Green 2, Fred VanVleet 3 team option. I mean, I guess you can have a little bit more flexibility with assets in a trade if you picked up Fred VanVleet's option and he basically gets the Kevin Durant salary for Houston. I just don't think any team wants to take on that expiring $44 million. But I think Jalen Green, I mean, yeah, if you're going after Kevin Durant, if you're going after Devin Booker, or big name fish in the offseason, Jalen Green's $33 million. Like, he still has potential. Maybe just needs to change the scenery to really maximize that consistency, maybe. And Cam Whitmore is like, I think they just have a gluttony of young assets. You hope to keep developing Reed Shepherd. You have the Suns lottery pick this year. And then you got Tari Eason with an extension coming. I think Cam Whitmore could have some scoring appeal with more touches. I would honestly sub out Fred VanVleet for Jabari Smith Jr. Just because I wonder what Jabari Smith Jr.'s camp wants. Like Jalen Duren can be extended this offseason, and they're paying money to Şengün. Maybe there's a big name that's going to be making a lot of money. I think you want to keep Eason and obviously Amen Thompson down the line because of their defense. I wonder, if Jabari Smith Jr. or Reed Shepherd would make more sense than Fred VanVleet there at number 3. Next up, Indiana. Obi Toppin at 1. Obi Toppin was having a kind of a disappointing year for making $15 million, but man, that game against the Timberwolves, electric. And then he hits like a game-winning 3, similar to like Halliburton's 3 in a way the other night. You got Benedict Mathurin at number 2 and TJ McConnell at number 3. I think Mathurin could make a ton of sense. I like Indy as a sneaky Kevin Durant team. It would be tough to get there, but Mathurin, sign and trade. It's tough. He's 20, so he's extension eligible, but that would be a poison pill, which makes it very complicated to get a deal done, especially with a team like Phoenix that has already financial restrictions. I think McConnell, love him as a backup point guard, but maybe you'd be selling high, which is probably the smart thing to do. Toppin is more just a salary leverage. I think Jarris Walker could make more sense than Benedict Mathurin. I wonder if Miles Turner as a sign and trade, but he means so much to Indiana. I don't think he gets moved. I think Ben Shepherd could also get moved as well. But yeah, I wonder, like, Mathurin, I'm sure they would move, but it's just, I mean, Mathurin, say you don't extend him, he's making a little bit under $10 million next year. And then if you package that with, like, McConnell and Obi, hey, that's a 3-for-1 that could get you a notable name on the market. If Indiana feels like, all right, worst first or second round exit this year. Maybe we lose to Cleveland or we lose to Boston in round 2. And then they're like, all right, we want to add another name to Pascal and Hallie. For the Clippers here, we got Drew Eubanks, who has a non-guaranteed. We got Bogey, and we have Norman Powell. I think Bogey and Eubanks could make some sense if they're trying to make a lateral move. You're going to most likely bring back Harden and Kawhi's on the books. Surprised to see Norman Powell there at 3. I guess that's maybe to add a bigger name to those guys, which, yeah, he's got a $20.5 million expiring contract, but if he could be healthy next year, they kind of need that offense. At times, the Clippers offense could be a little stagnant, and he was there to pick them up this year, especially with Kawhi out, and with Kawhi and Harden getting older. I think it's smart to have Powell on the books, even if it's for an expiring. And then, yeah, Zubac's very nice contract extension kicks in. For the Lakers here, we got Dalton Connect 1. I think similar to Mark Williams at the deadline, you could try to leverage the asset of Dalton Connect that still has that rookie appeal and that fresh appeal for a rim running center, rim protector to add to Reeves, LeBron, and Luka. Gabe Vincent 2, Maxi Kleber 3, more just so matching salary out there. If you wanted to attach all 3 of those guys, that could get you a Nick Claxton, that can get you a center that is making $20+ million. They're not moving Reeves. They're not obviously moving LeBron or Luka. And I think they would like to hold on to Rui Hashimura. But I do think if there is a bigger name, like say it's like a Miles Turner, I don't know if Miles, I mean, they could use a Miles Turner, and I'm sure JJ Redick would love that. I just don't know if he's like worth attaching all these assets to, because they do have some draft picks either. I think Mark Williams had the appeal because a little bit more athletic and younger and cost effective than Miles Turner. I'm sure they would love to get Miles Turner. Like, you're not trading for Bam, even though that would be kind of insane. Just kind of going through some centers off the top of my head. I struggle to find like a big $40 million, $30 million a year center. But I don't think Nick Claxton will cost them much. But I don't know if you want to invest that much in Nick Claxton. For Memphis here, John Conchar, Brandon Clark, and Jay Huff. I think all guys that you're just trying to dump salary. You have a potential Triple J, Supermax looming, Desmond Bane, and Ja making big money. I think, yeah, I just wonder where this team is. Because they had so many assets at the deadline. And they dumped Smart for just salary relief to get under the luxury tax. Or to save money against the luxury tax. I don't know. I just wonder if there was a way to elevate this team. And I think last year being such a wash of a year is really going to keep Memphis patient and think we can still do something in the playoffs with this core of Bane, Triple J, and John. They've hit on the Edey pick. It looks like they hit on the Jalen Wells pick. This is a great drafting team. But they don't own their first round pick this year. I would have just kept the Smart contract into the offseason. And then maybe you could have leveraged that if, I don't know, just Kevin Durant and Jimmy Butler, they didn't want to go to Memphis. Miami here, Kyle Anderson, number 1. Yeah, makes sense. Terry Rozier, number 2. I like how 1.7 million of that isn't guaranteed. That's a salary dump. And hey, like I was saying, like, hey, if Miami was willing to give you multiple seconds to swap Rozier for Nurkic, maybe that's something that goes down, as Miami would save around $7 million with that trade. And Jaime Jaquez is 3. I thought they should have sold high on Jaime before. Because these older rookies, we see them have good rookie years, and then that's kind of the peak of their ability. But I think you can maybe re-sign Jaquez eventually on a nice deal next offseason. Like, you're not moving Bam, you're not moving Hero at this point. You may have 2 top 25 picks, and I don't think they're going to make the playoffs. I would have had Wiggins probably in here, because I think Wiggins, you need his money to headline a Kevin Durant trade if that were to happen. Milwaukee, we got Pat Connaughton, player option. They've been trying to move this guy for years, so that makes sense. A little bit more appealing now that it's an expiring and it doesn't have 2 years left. Chris Livingston is just a young asset to throw in a deal. And Kyle Kuzma, yeah, they made that Chris Middleton trade to get under the luxury tax. I don't think Kuzma's been a game changer for this team. It feels like at times Kevin Porter Jr. has been a more impactful pickup. But I think they could look to leverage Kuzma in a different deal in the offseason with a little bit more flexibility now that they're under the second apron. Minnesota, we got Mike Conley, about a year left on his deal. Randall is a player option. That could be a sign and trade if he's going to go to a different team to, I think, get more guaranteed money, because they want to re-sign Naw and they want to re-sign Reed. You can't really afford to have Randall on this team if they're going to also try to trade for Kevin Durant, because you're in the second apron. And Rudy Gobert 3. I mean, I wonder if Phoenix is intrigued about Rudy Gobert, just because he's still a good defender and this team's defense has been so bad. And Rudy's not going to be like an all-defensive first-team guy, but he's still a good defender. And he can help you get to that KD money. It's something to think about, and I see why they put Gobert at number 3, who they extended in last offseason. It mentions we know the Timberwolves went after Kevin Durant. they could do so. Gobert, like, does Gobert and Randall headline a KD trade financially? I don't know if, like, Shannon Jr. or Dillingham have to be in that trade, or multiple first-round picks that Minnesota can trade down the line. But they traded a first-round pick down the line for Dillingham, and they already have picks going out still from the Gobert trade. So it's an idea that we know that I think they want to pair up Anthony Edwards and Kevin Durant. Next up, the Pelicans. They got CJ McCollum 1, an expiring deal for a good score. Hey, Orlando, you should probably be on the phone. I mean, if Houston doesn't get a big name, I don't mind them taking a flyer on McCollum. Like, they might, if Van Vliet isn't back or back on a cheaper deal, why not? McCollum may not cost you much, and this team could use some shooting. We got Kelly Olynyk there at number 2, and Jordan Hawkins at number 3. I'm surprised Zion Williamson wasn't in there. But yeah, because Zion's values kind of recouped to an all-time high. Not an all-time high, but pretty high for them. I think, yeah, McCollum and Olynyk makes sense because they're expiring deals, but why move Hawkins? I mean, he's been so banged up this year and looked great to start off the year. I kind of want to see this team at full strength with Herb, Trey, and Hawkins healthy. Like, hopefully we can get that next year. I do wonder if, like, yeah, Alvarado could have made more sense, even though they might, like, they're going to need Alvarado next year with Murray missing a ton of time. The Knicks, we got Mitchell Robinson. It could make sense. He's going to be entering the final year of his deal. They have Cat. Maybe they think they can, it's just not going to work out having Mitch on their team like that, and they could look for another defensive wing. Precious at number 2. That could be somewhat of a sign and trade, and then Bakome Dadiet and Kolek at 3. Like, I just don't see the Knicks trading away any of their top 5, which is Hart, Brunson, Bridges, Cat, and OG. I wonder if Miles McBride, like, yeah, they mentioned he deserves a spot, or a mention for the final 2 spots. His contract is so good, $4 million a year. And if the Knicks were trying to get a big name, like, I mean, you may have to include Deuce in there, but it's just, I don't know. Deuce is so valuable, and for this team, that's Cat's contract's going up. Brunson, still a incredible team-friendly deal, but that contract is going to go up. Bridges needs a new extension. OG's contract goes up by a year, and same with Hart. You kind of need Deuce on that contract, but what does Deuce's next contract look like? And now you're a second apron team. I think Deuce would make more sense. I don't think the Knicks handled the 2024 draft well at all in hindsight. OKC here, they got Ousmane Dieng, last year of that rookie deal, making a decent amount of money. Makes sense. They could have 2 first-round picks in this draft as well. Jay Will, I just, like, I'm sure they would move Jay Will for, if that was, like, the last piece to get a big name. I just think Jay Will is obviously such a culture guy for this team. And Kenrich Williams, who would probably play so much more on other teams, is still a great defender, and teams would value that. Like, the Knicks would value that for sure if they could somehow end up with Kenrich Williams this offseason. So I could see that. I wonder if Isaiah Joe would be moved more so than Kenrich or Jay Will. I just don't think they'd move Jay Will. Orlando, we got KCP, we got Cole Anthony, and we got Jett Howard. Like, kind of going back to my Nurkic idea, do they regret the KCP contract enough to move KCP and, like, the Magic pick at the Nuggets pick at 25 or 26 to get back Yusuf Nurkic, who has 1 year left on his deal? KCP will have 2 years left on the deal, so you get a year out of that, and you just got to give up that first round pick in the late 20s from Denver to do so. If I'm Charlotte, I'm all over that. And you get a veteran like KCP joining, like, with Grant Williams, and I mean, maybe Josh Green or something's in that trade. I actually kind of like that for Charlotte, but I don't know if Orlando regrets the KCP contract that much. Cole Anthony and Jett Howard, I think, could all make sense as a young asset or matching salary to go after a bigger name. Like, I don't think they're moving Mo because of Franz, and Mo was good this year before the injury. I think Wendell Carter Jr. honestly could get in there. I just don't know who wants to take on Wendell Carter Jr.'s contract extension right now. Philly, you got Eric Gordon as a player option. Wonder if he's going to retire. We'll see. Andre Drummond as a player option. We'll see. And then Paul George at number 3. I mean, I can't think of a trade where, unless you're attaching the 4th, 5th, or 6th overall pick in this draft to get off of Paul George's money, who wants that? It's like 3 years, $150 million remaining. Like, nobody is taking that. Nobody is, unless you're giving them a valuable asset. And I threw this idea out on Twitter, and honestly, like, I only got like 20 replies on this tweet, which usually means it's a good idea, because if it wasn't, like, it would have so many more ideas saying this team would say no, or this team would say no. Like, what if Utah in the lottery get kind of unlucky and they drop to 5? And what if Philly gets number 2, where that would be, like, most likely Dylan Harper? What if they swap picks and they do, like, a Lowry Markkanen for Paul George trade? I don't know. Markkanen's making a lot of money, but he's better than Paul George and is a lot younger. And then Utah needs, like, a blue chip prospect. And I think you sacrifice giving up Trey Johnson or Kasperi Shakuchonis and you can get Dylan Harper, and then Philly still ends up with Kasparis or Trey Johnson there at 5. So it's something to think about for sure. Phoenix, we got Kevin Durant, no brainer. Royce O'Neal, I think teams, like, I wonder, Royce O'Neal's not as good defensively as I would like, but like Royce O'Neal for Mitchell Robinson, how does that work out? And Grayson Allen at number 3. Teams need shooting, but that contract, man, it's not great. Like, he's a great shooter, but would you rather take, like, you try to find the next AJ Green or Sam Merrill than pay $16 million a year for Grayson Allen? Portland, we got Simons, Time Lord, and Grant. I mean, both Simons and Time Lord, I believe, are under expiring contracts. They would love to move Jeremy Grant, but it's another contract, unless it's some type of like Paul George, Yusuf Nurkic. I don't know, like, bad salary's got to be shuffled here. I don't think Miami wants to take on Jeremy Grant. I mean, yeah, there's a couple worse contracts out there than Grant, and Paul George is one of them, but does that even make sense? Like I said, Portland would need assets going back, and then I think it's just like they're on the right path right now. I would look to move Simons. I said that last offseason. I wonder if they would get as much. Sacramento, we got Malik Monk. Whoa, we got some big names here. Malik Monk 1, DeMar DeRozan 2, Sabonis 3. I could see them trying to reshuffle Monk for a wing, but I think Monk is still such a good 6-man like playmaker for his role and isn't making that much money. DeMar, I would move DeMar, but what team is taking on DeMar, right? At this point, he does have 2 years left on his deal. Unless you are, like I said, getting like, it's like a Paul George for DeMar swap, and you're getting a valuable asset from Philly. Oh, God. Sacramento's in a weird spot, and Sabonis is at 3 if you feel like you can't maximize this window. I think there would be a robust market for Sabonis, but do you want to trade your best player after just trading away your best player at the deadline in Fox? I think they do have some interesting scenarios. I think like Keegan Murray could be thrown in there, but maybe not. Or Zach LaVine like could get rerouted. You never know. San Antonio, we got Malachi Branham. I think if a team wants to take a flyer on some shooting. Blake Wesley at 2. Yeah, but it's going to be like a small trade and them giving up on him. And then Keldon Johnson at 3. Yeah, I think a team could want to take on Keldon Johnson. Like, I don't know if San Antonio is realizing, okay, we got like the Wemby extension soon. Maybe a Sohan extension, Castle in 3 years, Fox extension this offseason. We're going to get kind of expensive. Maybe we do move Keldon Johnson at one point. I do think if there is like a Vassell or Sohan name to be mentioned, I think Sohan would come up first. But I don't think that gets put off. Like, I think they're going to keep on, be patient on that. Toronto, Pirtle's 1. I mean, he was shopped at the deadline. If they add a Derek Queen or Kaman Murray watching the draft, could see that happening. RJ Barrett at 2. I think if they land an Ace Bailey or Cooper Flagg, I mean, they just paid Ingram all this money. RJ Barrett would be the odd man out. And Jacoby Walter, already there at number 3. Okay. I wonder if a team, I mean, they don't want to move Mogbo or Shed. So, I mean, Walter is not as good defensively as those guys, and you have plenty of offense right now, so he could be an odd man out long term. And then Utah, second to last team here, it's the veterans, Clarkson, Sexton, and Collins. Guys I thought they should have been moved at the deadline. I wonder if Markkanen would make more sense than Collins, just because Collins is a free agent. But I think, yeah, I'm hesitant to like be like, all right, they should move Markkanen right now. It really is just going to depend what happens with the lottery. And then lastly, we got the Washington Wizards. Chris Middleton as a player option. He's definitely opting into that. I'm sure he would like to go to a contender or a better team. Like, I don't know. Let's say he opts in and Miami doesn't make a big splash and there's like a Chris Middleton for Terry Rozier trade, right? And then there could be some seconds that can go back to Washington or a young player. Like, that's an idea, right? Rashawn Holmes, non-guaranteed. I just don't know who wants that. I guess maybe the non-guaranteed portion is appealing. And then Marcus Smart, same thing. If it's like a Yusuf Nurkic, I would say maybe a better team that has a bad contract, that like Smart can go to that team for the bad contract coming back. There's just not that many bad contracts in this league like there used to be. But I think teams could target the Rozier deal to try to get something done. Teams could target the Kuzma deal, which isn't the worst contract in the world. Teams could target the Grayson Allen deal or something like that. So, yeah, that is going to be it for me. Hope you guys did enjoy this episode of the Just Ballin' podcast. If you did, I would appreciate you hitting a rating and review over on the audio platforms. And hey, if you're watching on YouTube, appreciate you dropping a thumbs up. Hit that subscribe button for multiple episodes out a week. And don't forget to check out Magic Mind. Link to that is going to be in the episode description. And thank you again to Magic Mind for sponsoring this episode. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.